Morning, guys. How are we this morning? Well, I'm a mess. I haven't been to bed yet, so just try to get this hair of mine to settle down. It's all over the place. Anyway, I've been doing a bit of thinking, and I thought, deep thoughts, or deep something or other. I don't know what I'm thinking. We'll go with it anyway. I basically started my channel because it was to help people such as myself with bipolar, depression, anxiety, and that. But I haven't really sat down and discussed with you just how I come about to get my mental illness. It's not easy to talk about, by all means, but for you to get to know me on a personal level, that higher level, there's a few things you guys need to know about me. So before I go, hit the like and subscribe button. That's if I haven't scared you off. Mine stems back from, I don't know, probably 9 or 10-year-old. Growing up in a small town in Ross, Tasmania. I was raped by 2 men. That's right, raped. Now, as a young kid, I never said nothing or anything to my parents. So, yeah. I went to my brother's when I was a little bit older, and I used to sit in between his feet on the floor while he was sitting in his armchair. Anyway, there was a news article about a young girl in Launceston who had been molested. And I just turned around and said to my brother, I said, Carl, and what, bub? I said, what does molester mean? Anyway, he looked at me, a bit of a puzzled look, and he said, why? And why did you ask that? I said, oh no reason, just asking. He said, well, he explained it to me. And I said, oh, okay. He said, well, tell me something. Why are you asking that? I said, oh, no reason. Anyway, it must have worried him because he said something to my mum. Mum asked me about it, and I said, no, I'm all right. I'm all good. Anyway, that was all right. So we forward up to the age of 21, I got married. 22, I had my daughter. By the age of 26, I had a complete hysterectomy. I was cut from hip to hip. My cousin and I, we make a bit of a gag about it, rather than say hysterectomy because it sounds, I don't know, gross. We'd say, oh, we had our gearbox taken out. Well, you ought to see the laughs we get from that, I tell you. And that's another story for another time. But the age of 26, or actually it goes back to after I had my daughter, I kept getting real bad pains in the stomach. Anyway, I had to go and have a hysterectomy because of it. And basically why I had to have this hysterectomy, because back in those days it was, a great big cut. Mine was cut basically from hip to hip. Wasn't keyhole surgery as it is today. No, mine had to be from hip to hip. Anyhow, I was told all the things by the doctor, no sex for 6 weeks. I was in hospital for a fortnight after I had it done. I was allowed to go home, goes home, goes to bed that night. And my husband at the time, which is my daughter's father, said to me, righto, I want a root. And I said, well, you can't. I don't care whether you can't. I want a root. And I'm sorry if this has been explicit, but that's how I was spoken to. Anyway, I said no, wasn't happening. Next thing, I started bleeding. He'd helped himself. I had to go back to the hospital the next day. By rights, I should have went that night. But the person that I was with, Bianca's father, wouldn't take me. No, bugger you. You can suffer. I put up with 9 years of abuse with him. And that was part of it. The next day, I went back to my gynecologist. He looked at me. He said, what the hell is going on? I told him. He said, I want to report. I said, no, don't. Because it makes it worse for me and my daughter. No one knew just what sort of a man he was. I thought this was going to be easy. But it's not. He rushed me back into hospital, emergency surgery. I had hemorrhaged. He said, I told you no sex for 6 weeks. I said, yeah, try telling the husband that. Well, he said, you're not going home straight after this. He said, I'm keeping you in till you heal up properly, until I'm satisfied. I said, yeah, all right. He said, at least I know you'll be safe. Anyway, I went and got stitched up again inside, and I spent a good 6 weeks in hospital. Actually, I've got to jump back till when I was about 18, 17. My grandmother passed away. She was 84, she was a ripe old age. But 17-year-old, I couldn't understand why it happened. I just knew she was old. So yeah, I started going in, what I now know was deep depression. And then this happened with my ex-husband, Chris. I'll even mention his name, I don't give a shit. And then 1994, my father passed away. I knew it was coming. And then 1997, my mum died. All through those years, I had been through a really bad marriage, 9 years of abuse on top of it all. And then last year I lost a sister. Then again this year I lost another sister. I had 3 sisters and I've got 4 brothers. I've only got 1 sister left out of 7 of us kids. I'm the 8th one. Yeah, so life's been pretty shit. Back in 2013, I was diagnosed with that was back in Tasmania. Back in 2004, give or take, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. 2006, I moved up here to Queensland. Around about 2009, I was diagnosed with lymphedema in my legs. The left worse than the right, and I'll show you what that looks like. It might gross you out some, but I do apologise. But look, that's the top of my foot and my ankle. Don't know if you can see that or not. So yeah, anyway, when I was first diagnosed, my legs used to get heaps bigger than that. It was like the size of a football. That made me start to feel like a freak. I hated myself. I hated life. And there was things going on that I couldn't understand what was wrong. Why was I so angry? Why was I doing silly, stupid things? I still can't work it out to this day. Well, I can now, but it took me a while. One day I'm jumping up and down happy as Larry, and being silly, and then for 2 or 3 days at a time I'd be like that. And then for the next 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, I'm just a sad sack, Oh, woe is me, everyone's against me, no one likes me, stuff's the world, And basically I just wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself. Because, well, I just didn't want to be here anymore. Everyone left me. Mum and Dad gone. 2 sisters have gone. My grandmother died. I was angry. Hell, I wanted to be with them. I missed them so much, it hurts. But I started watching YouTube, and I've only started this year. And I thought to myself, and thought long and hard about it, and I thought, yeah, well, hey, I need to get my story out there. And now I'm not doing it for pity or for anyone to feel sorry for me. I'm doing it because I believe that if I shared that little bit about me, that it'll go a long way into breaking the stigma of mental health issues. There's too much stigma. We need to break it and move on and live a fulfilling, happy, safe, secure life. We have every right to take back what was ours and is ours. No one, not even mental health, can take that away. I started doing this vlog and I thought long and hard about it. And I asked various people on the vlogs that do their own vlogging, people like Hazy Days, Steve Vlogs, just to name a few. What do I do? Should I do it? How do I do it? And whatever other question there was. Yet, a lot of the time you've seen me acting the fool, being stupid with silly pictures that I've put up or things. And yes, I've spoken little about my depression and what works. And that still stands, by the way. What works for me may not work for you. What works for me may not work for you. But hey, no harm in trying. I kept a journal. I wrote poetry. I started writing songs. Not that I know anything about music. None of my songs have got music to them. But if Hazy's watching this, that song I sent you through Messenger, Hazy, and you want to use it, put music to it, and if it's any good to you, please do it. I'd be very happy and honoured if you did. So yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. And people might have a bit of an understanding about my situation, my bipolar, and how I'm dealing with it. So, until the next one, we'll talk again, and peace out.